Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Barrett, and I'm sitting in the Kangaroo Motorsports studio, and I am sitting alone again because Adam could not be bothered. Couldn't be bothered to show up. Hasn't texted me back all day. Granted, I didn't text him in the first place, but he didn't text me either. He is busy. Too busy for you, the fans. And I, however, am not too busy. I have Boonie on Zoom via across town because he also couldn't be bothered to come over.
Oh, come on now. I had to go to elementary conferences tonight with the kids and immediately left after work. So it was, it's not that I didn't want to come down to the estate. It just happened to work this way.
I guess I'll allow it. Being an adult, having responsibilities, some of us have decided to do that, whereas others of us could just come home and do whatever they wanted all night.
Some of us are still faking it.
Faking
the
being
whole adult.
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole adult thing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But you're a parent at least, so you got like that notch in your belt for being an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go to school, listen to a teacher tell you how great your kids are, and then just yeah.
They did do that tonight. I'm happy about that. Very proud.
That's good. I mean, you have good kids. There's no surprise there.
Agreed.
But before we dive into it too far, I want to remind everybody to head over to Tech Boss Motorsports, tekbosscompany.com, if you want to get your Christmas presents, really. I mean, you should really be planning ahead for that. We got electric scooters and dirt bikes. I can't imagine a better gift for a child on Christmas morning than an electric scooter or dirt bike.
I would say even a man-child that likes going to the racetrack.
That would be great too. Like if
I can't go to the circuit anymore without my bike.
Oh gosh,
that I bought from Tech Boss.
Yes, no, I have been spoiled with my free ride. I can't go back. There's no going back for me. I have to have at least one of these at the track with me every event.
Give me convenience or give me death.
Yeah, I don't want to have to walk anymore. I am the typical fat American. I am not walking.
Walking's for plebes, man. Sounds like something Michael would have said.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, head over to techbosscompany.com. Get yours. Use our code. I think it's 10 Tenths podcast. It's just 10 Tenths. It's in the description. If you just want to open your phone, look down and go, oh yeah, and then use that when you buy your scooter. I would definitely buy it now before the prices go up because of supply chain issues. I'm just saying. Now is the time to buy. Think ahead for 2022. You are going to be very happy that you already have this in your garage.
Exactly.
techbosscompany.com. Boonie, because we are a podcast that is always relevant and up to the times of what's going on in the world, we decided to finally I decided to finally have you on the show to talk about going to Le Mans, which was roughly 6 months ago.
Was it? Well, not quite long ago, but it was
June.
It's still very fresh in my mind. It was August.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not so bad then. I had in my head that was like, no, you went in June. That was a long time ago.
No, we're about 3 months. About 3 months. It's 3 months removed.
That's not so bad then.
No,
I figured I'd have you on, talk about that. You've been doing a decent amount of traveling this year. You didn't get to go last year, or did you go?
No. One would. They didn't have any spectators in 2020, unfortunately. So yeah, everyone was very anxious to get back, even though it was only about 20% of the capacity. So I asked the ACO, a representative as well, and they said, yeah, only 50,000 people. That's it. And it was pretty. The vendors were pared down. So, but I tell you what, I'm not there for any of the rides or the music. I'm there strictly for the racing.
So how did you, man from Iowa, get a ticket when there's only 20% capacity?
Well, so the first, it was a process for sure. First, it was dedicating and convincing yourself that yes, this event is going to happen, and I have full faith that this is going to happen, and I'm going to lay down the money for not only the tickets, which they're not really that expensive if you're not getting reserved seating, if you're just doing a general admission.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're only about €60, but then airfare and your lodging, that's where it's really your whole hog in there, because a lot of the, booking.com, it's like, all right, but there's a pandemic going on and we're not giving any refunds because of this. And the same with the airlines. It's like, you buy this ticket, and you're going. So then it's like, all right, well, what's the protocol going to be for COVID? And it was up in the air up until about 3 weeks before we left, because France actually has their shit together and they have an app on their phone, and all you have to do is get your vaccination, have it confirmed with a pharmacy that's dealing with the government. You get a QR code and you pull it up on your phone and you have carte blanche. Then you really have the ability to, do the dining, you can get to the circuit, and they weren't allowing you. If you didn't have any of that, if you didn't have the QR code for some reason, you weren't getting into the track and you weren't going to restaurants. So we were very lucky once we got into Paris and we went to a pharmacy that they accepted our CDC cards. And, even before that, before we left, we had to send I don't know if it was to the consulate or some government entity. We had to get this form that was a declaration of trust or honesty. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I believe it.
And we had to declare that, no, we are being, as worldly citizens, we're being accurate with all of this. And we swear and affirm that we were actually vaccinated and we're good to go. So, having done that, it took, I had read on, I think, Sports Car 365 that members of the ACO were going to have pre-sale advantage. So I told my buddy Swanson that went with me that you need to become a member of the ACO, because, if we've got to buy multiple tickets, it's going to be advantageous for us to get in and have this early pre-sale that they've got going on. So we did that, became members of the Automobile Club de l'Ouest, and I waited up until 3 a.m. one morning. And when the tickets went on sale and the site didn't work,
like effectively crashed.
It effectively crashed because of the demand.
Yep.
So I stayed up until 4 a.m. and I was just like, oh my God, this isn't working. So I went to sleep, and later on they're like, and later on that day, it's like, yeah, we're going to hold off for 2 more days. We're going to get this sorted out. And then we're going to open up pre-sale again to ACO members. And once they did that, I was able to get our general admission tickets. And then we also purchased reserved seating in one of the tribunes on the front straight, which was nice. It's the only time you really need the reserved seats is at the beginning of the race and the end of the race, or when it's raining, which invariably it always seems to rain a little bit at the 24. So, and this year, if anyone watched those, it did right at the beginning. And, there was an incident right there, very first turn right before the Dunlop Bridge. One of the Toyotas got into it with the Glickenhaus, and it was like, oh boy, the rain is coming into play. But obviously they pulled out the 1-2 and they were fine.
Yeah. So where do we want to go from? You usually make like a big trip out of this. You don't just like show up and do just the event. Like you kind of make this like your big trip of the year. So being a pandemic, did you just What was different about this year than what you've done in the past?
So when I went the first time I went to Le Mans in 19, I kind of planned it around visiting a buddy of mine in Switzerland, and then other two friends were up in Germany. Just kind of planes, trades, and automobiles getting around mainland Europe to visit and go do various things. This year it was very truncated. It was basically a week, and it was only in France. With it being the pandemic and just, it's like, let's not mess anything up. Let's get to where we're going to go. We're going to stick in Le Mans and just focus on going and doing race things. So we got in on Tuesday, got into our flat, and then Wednesday, activities at the circuit actually start happening. So we went to all of the practices. We saw all the support races, even the 100 VW Beetle grid that they had. It was
that's amazing.
Strangest sound, like 100 mosquitoes coming down. That the front straight coming up to Dunlop. It was unique to say the least.
I did not realize they did that.
Yeah, we didn't either until we got there. And, it was, I guess, for the sideshow of seeing it, it was something. But yeah, I guess you could tell someone that's like, yeah, I raced it. I raced at Le Mans
in my Beetle.
In a Beetle. They've been on track there. I haven't, so yeah. I can't even say that. I mean,
if I was there on Wednesday and they had the 100 Volkswagen Beetles on track and I saw it on the pamphlet, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, you got to.
It's 100 Beetles.
I mean, compared, I think they're making like a 5-minute lap, which if anyone is familiar with Le Mans or done any sim racing, it's like, that is slow as fuck.
Top speed of 101.
So slow. So slow. I don't even think it was that fast.
That's crazy.
It's still something to see. And, it's more just being at that circuit. Just being there and taking advantage of every opportunity and everything that has to offer. I mean, before we even got into the country, we had landed, we got off, and we're standing in line for customs. And I look at Swanson, I was like, I think that's Jim up there, as in James Glickenhaus.
Oh, the guy that follows me on Instagram?
Yeah, yes, thank you. But it's funny, I recognized him as a race enthusiast, a car owner, a competitor at Le Mans, and Swanson recognized him as a director and a producer of films from back in the day. So, but yeah, we saw him in line, and as we were going through, I was like, "Hey, Jimmy, good luck." And he was like, gave us a thumbs up, and then when we got through customs, like chatted with him for a few minutes, got a picture, and I was like, man, this is great. Met the guy whose team we're, coming to watch and cheer on this year as a legit, full-fledged American privateer at the 24-hour. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been like super. I would have been starstruck. I wouldn't have known what to say. I mean, I'm really awkward in those situations to begin with, but then it's somebody I actually want to talk to. Nah, I'd freeze up for sure. Like, yeah, I know who you are. See ya.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was just. I mean, we were all like kind of jet lagged and tired, and it was just like, yeah, we want to go do our thing. It's just like, yeah, small talk. It's all be an attrition, and yeah. It's not necessarily about speed, whatever. It's just the general race car shit that people talk to each other about.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then the fact that there was only 50,000 people there, does that mean like everything's scaled back, like all the events that are happening, or does it simply just almost a ghost town because they're so used to way more than that?
Yeah, so a lot of the vendors, a lot of the food vendors were really scaled back. Um, I think a lot of the merchants were not present there at the infield, like in the little village. They have them, uh, behind the paddock and whatnot. A lot of that was pretty barren. Um, none of the carnival rides were there. There was no big music, you know,
Concerts or whatever.
concert. Yeah, like in 19, there was, they had Franz Ferdinand, which, in any other situation, I might go watch him, but you couldn't even, you couldn't pull me away from the race to be bothered with them, a couple of years ago. So, but I mean, and the other thing we did was, we paid a little bit more for ACO VIP access. So we had, if we wanted to get out of, there really wasn't crowds, but if we didn't want to stand in line for any food or beverages, we could go to one of the ACO hospitality suites and kind of chill there, get out of the rain, because it did, rain off and on, and it did get chilly overnight. I mean, it was down into the 50s.
Yeah, that's properly chilly.
Yeah, and I was telling these guys, like, if it does get cold there. It's pretty close to the sea, and the weather's always changing, and it can be a little bit nippy out, and with the rain, it definitely was.
So then, when you go to this event, do you show up before the race and you have no intention of leaving, doing anything? You're there from start to finish. You're watching the race.
Yeah, I've got my backpack, and I've got, it's like I was telling Swanson and these guys, like, this is what you want to take. And, so I went through items like, a light jacket, an umbrella, you can carry food, beverages, and you can take in basically whatever you want. They're not checking, for anything other than,
like weapons or whatever,
I guess. But I mean, in 19, I saw guys carrying a keg in. So, I mean, it's quite different over there than it is here. But, I had that, I took my mouthwash, toothpaste, toothbrush, just things to keep you feeling fresh or refreshed, just whatever, a change of clothes, a change of socks. It was, you're spending an entire day, and so I've got my backpack, and we have zero intention of ever leaving the circuit. The only time we left the circuit was to get on a bus to take it to Arnage, to see the race over there. But even then, like, that was at least a 30-minute drive, leaving the middle of the circuit and taking this bus, winding all the way through. And then it seemed like it was 45 minutes just getting back. It's like, we're still at the race, but we're not watching the race, or I don't even, where are we at?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're going, you got to go, and just go for the race, because you don't know what you're going to miss.
Right. And does that seem to be the mentality of basically everyone there? Like, the crowds are the same, or no?
No, I mean, during the middle of the night, even the most hardcore of partiers and drinkers, like by 4 a.m., like they've run out of steam. It's a sober guys that are there for the race that are seeing it through till dawn. But yeah, it really thins out, but there's a lot of camping that goes on. I mean, everyone for the most part is camping, and or heading back to town.
Gotcha.
There's only not too many of us were sticking it out for the whole thing.
Yes, I can only compare it to the things I've actually been to. So I'm comparing it to like a festival for grid life or something, where it's, you got the festival goers, and then you got the people that actually are there for the racing or the track event, and it's not necessarily segregated, but you can definitely tell where people's focuses are.
Right. Yeah. For certain. For certain.
Trying to think what else you did while you were there that would be worth mentioning. Because like it's not like here like with Formula One or even like with NASCAR. So like you can go like leading up to the event. It's a little bit more open, is it not?
It is in a normal year. Friday they didn't open pit lane.
Oh shoot.
Normally they open it up and they've got each garage is roped off, just outside of the where the pit box is. And you can go up and talk to the mechanics. Sometimes the drivers come out and you're out, you're watching them do their final prep and assembling the cars. And in 2019, I did that. I stood at the Ford garages for at least 2 hours just watching the GTs being worked on, because I knew I'd never ever have another chance to ever experience that and see these cars as personally as I am, at that moment. So that's kind of that's a nice way for the fans to get up close and personal with, the best sports car drivers in the world and the best endurance cars in the world.
That comment you just made right there, that reminds me of like a comment we had, like a conversation we had when we were in Atlanta, when you said that you stood outside the garage and watched them for 2 hours. That reminded me of when you were talking about when we were at that, what's it called? That
Road Atlanta?
No, not the track. When we were at that restaurant, the Golden Steer Calf thing, whatever it was called, like that super fancy restaurant. But we're sitting at what's equivalent to the bar, and we're watching the cooks do their thing. And you made a comment to me like, I could sit here all night and watch this. And I'm the same way at like a sushi restaurant. I could watch them make sushi all night. It's that same like watching somebody that's a master of their craft do their thing.
Yeah, they're the pinnacle of their profession.
Yep. So like you sitting there watching them for 2 hours, I get that. I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean it's just being aware and knowing that, sometimes in certain situations you're cognizant of that and knowing it's like, all right, I know I need to be here because this may not happen again. Other times it's just dumb luck. Like, boy, I'm really glad I stuck around, or I just happened to be in this place and this thing happened. And wow. Like, for instance, we kept seeing these Glickenhaus hats and we didn't see them for sale anywhere. And we finally stopped someone and they were American. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just here hanging with the team. And this other guy walks up and is like, oh, this is Michael Young. He designed the car. I was like, oh, wow. So that was a really cool moment of, just, the spontaneity of asking someone about something. And then, oh yeah, here's the guy that designed the coolest hypercar on grid right here.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And then
we ran it. Yeah. And then we ran into Ross Bentley too.
And then Ross is a super nice guy. But same thing. I never know what to say to him.
And I was just like, oh, hey, Ross. It was like, oh, hey, yeah, how you doing? It was like, yeah, my friend Robbie was in One Lap with you. It was in the blue Corvette. I'm the one that told you to throw French fries at him. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yep. Super, super nice guy. But I'm like not.
I mean, what else would you expect from a Canadian?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to be the nicest person.
He is. He's the nicest guy.
He is. And very knowledgeable.
Oh, incredibly knowledgeable. So I'm curious, when you were watching them work for, a couple hours on those 4 Gs, like, is this like a mad scramble as they're trying to get everything ready? Or is it like super meticulous, like fine tuning, like
fine tuning? I mean, there's guys cleaning things, cleaning body panels, cleaning under trays, like items that they're just making themselves busy, but it's
productive work.
What's that?
It's productive at, like anything they do is.
It's productive, but it's also, they're being very detailed that the proper preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Yes.
mentality. And they're really, it's like, all right, boys and girls, let's put the A game on display here. And, and everyone's, it was like watching ballet, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah. That or somebody tuning a piano. Like it's an intricate process. I know nothing about it of a piano, but like that person that's doing it knows exactly what they're doing. And for some reason that fascinates me, but
and it's the same thing. And that is just looking at the car and looking at different fasteners and the composition. It's like, well, they did that out of carbon, but they did that out of steel, but that's aluminum. And just, our minds of, those of us that do car prep or, fabrication, it's just like, and it's just trying to, reason why they did that, that way.
So you were literally taking notes for future use.
I was taking notes. I was taking detailed pictures and asking questions when I could. And
no, I like that.
Just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's the type of things that like when you're in that moment, like in your own racing, you'll be like, I remember when so-and-so from this other team was doing this beforehand. And then you end up having an issue like, oh, that's why they did that. So they don't have to deal with this bullshit later.
Exactly.
I'm not very good at interviews that I don't have 10 questions sitting right here.
No, I mean, this is
spontaneous, and I appreciate it.
It is spontaneity. I mean, it's not just Le Mans. I mean, I love to watch the pinnacle of every form of racing, whether it be endurance racing or Formula One. I'd love to go to a WRC event over in Europe sometime and watch rally. I think that would be incredible. But it's just making that decision and committing to it and saying, it's like, nope, I'm going to go do this. And you just, I don't know, make a plan of it. If it can't be next year, or make it 5 years or make it 10 years, it's hopefully, the event just endures and keeps captivating the minds and the pushing the limits, both technologically and, and our physical human ability.
Right. And Le Mans seems to be that event that's just going to endure the test of time. Like, it just seems like that's always the event. Even if for people that aren't involved in motorsport, it still seems to be the event. And of course, like Formula One's grown dramatically in the United States in the last couple of years, thanks to the Netflix effect.
Yep.
But even without that type of like racing passion or whatever you want to call it, now that you see a little bit more like at the Austin Grand Prix, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but it just seems like Le Mans always had that specialness that no matter what, it was always going to like continue. Like it in the back of my mind, it's never like, oh yeah, we should worry about Le Mans. No, that's the event, and it hopefully always will be.
Yeah, it's pulled, drivers from many different disciplines from over the years, and from Seb Ogier has driven in it as a rally driver, ex Formula One drivers. Apparently Valentino Rossi has an interest in getting into into the seat of a car now after he's done with MotoGP. I think that would be cool. I think seeing Valentino Rossi and Lewis Hamilton as friends on a team, that would be a spectacle itself. That would be record breaking numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, even like that video he did where he, I can't remember who it was with, where he swapped his bike with Formula One car. Was it Lewis?
It was Lewis, yeah.
And he was shockingly fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like upsettingly fast. Just like, yeah, he's driven this a minute, and he already has it figured out.
Those guys, you wouldn't think it would be transferable from one discipline to another like that, especially 2 wheels to 4, but they've got it. They know how to do it.
Absolutely. So yeah, you stuck it out for the whole event. And is it one of those, like, as soon as the checker flag flies, is it just kind of like people start to disperse, or is it everyone kind of descends on the podium, or like is that when the party starts?
There is that. So the thing about Le Mans, and as soon as the race is over, the track opens and you're able to walk out on the track, and it's supposed to be the people of Le Mans reclaiming their roads, because they're using public roads. Like the Mulsanne is a highway, and whatnot. And a lot of it is, some of the circuit is permanent, but a lot of it is public roads that they use. So it's people either go to the podium, people either walking out on a track, getting pictures, or like us, there's like, au revoir, we're going back because I've been here for over 24 hours and I'm ready for a shower and something proper to eat and go to bed.
Yeah, I always like turning it on, the race on, like that, because I don't stay up all night to watch it. But when I wake up the next morning, I'll turn it on and wherever it's at, whatever time I wake up. And usually it's at that point, you're like, the camera is panning across like the pit lane and there's crew members sleeping. It's like even the people that aren't driving are working their ass off for 24 hours. And it just like, you kind of can sense that, like just that extra effort that it takes just to finish, just to do the full 24. Like I just always thought that was kind of a cool way that the camera crew always just kind of showed that.
Yeah, and it is. It's an entire team effort. I mean, those guys and girls, on those crews are, in a hypercar or an LMP2, it's like, it's basically every hour when everything's going right, that car is coming in and you've got to service that car. So but then if things are going bad, man, I mean, someone takes an off or they take a hard hit shunt that it's like, you may have an hour of work in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. that you're asked to perform at your highest level, and you're working on very, very, very little sleep. So just the fact that, I know in this day and age, we all joke about participant trophies and whatnot, but I tell you what, it's definitely a feather in your cap that you can wear with pride just to complete a 24-hour race, no less, especially Le Mans, because it is, just having observed and being there, you can see that it's grueling, and it shows no favorites, and it is what it is.
Right. No, I completely agree with that. I'm not a participation trophy guy. In fact, like a lot of my TT trophies, I kind of like, there really wasn't that many people there. But like, I still actually look at my marathon trophy or my finisher medal that I got. I'm like, yeah, I earned that.
Oh.
I don't care that 3,000 other people got it too. I fucking earned that.
Yeah,
that one hurt
because there's another few million people that will never even try that.
Yep.
So that you're even, you're less than 1% of the people that are doing that. Yeah.
Yep.
Kudos to you. Yeah. That's something I'll never do either, because
I'll never do it again. Fuck that.
I hate running.
Yep. I ran 6 miles for the first time in, God, I don't know how long, last Tuesday. And I'm sore still because it's been too long.
Why?
Because if I can't be the fastest driver, I'm going to be the fittest.
That's well, I respect that, and I will. As someone's going to be driving with you next year, I'm happy to hear that, Robbie.
I want to be able to do a stint and not be the most tired.
I think we're all in for a rude awakening. We'll find out where our baseline's at.
That's kind of want to talk to you about, because like I think we'll talk about it a little bit more later. But obviously, you have the NPO1, and we've driven it, and we can kind of agree that it's a little more violent than a road car that we've been like the 350Z or your Z3. And then I won't say names unless you want to, because you know them and I don't. But we were talking to somebody that has driven an LMP car, and these guys are running them for 24 hours. And the only way they could describe that car was violent.
And the most violent. It was, yeah. She said it was the most violent car that she's ever been in.
Which is insane to think that they're driving those for 24 hours. And,
Yeah.
and she's comparing that to an NPO1 saying, oh, it's the most violent. And the NPO1 is not. That's crazy.
I'd love to have that feeling. I want to know how violent it is. So yeah, someday perhaps.
God, I hope so. But that, yeah, it's just mind blowing to me that, like, obviously you're not building these cars for comfort, but it just you don't think about that as a spectator as to how violent and grueling and awful it could be in a car that high strung for 24 hours.
I think a lot of avid motorsport fans probably do realize that, but the regular Joe Bag of Donuts on his couch is just watching sports. I think has that same stereotypical mentality of, oh, they're just driving a car. How hard is that? I can do that.
Yeah,
no.
That's it. It's crazy.
Professional drivers are elite athletes in every sense of the word.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean you still see that with like even just NASCAR. They'll be like, oh yeah, they're just driving in circles like at 200 miles an hour in a pretty high strung fucking car. It's not easy.
Exactly. No.
It's not easy at all.
No, not at all.
I think the more I've learned about racing in general, the more respect I have for any racing whatsoever. Like I'll catch
respect.
Yeah, I'll catch myself watching a NASCAR race. Like if there's racing on TV, I'll watch it. Like I get fascinated by it. The more I learn about it. So like the more I learn about Le Mans or 24-hour racing or endurance racing in general, it's just like this is way more difficult than people give it credit for. So yeah, it's I need to make it out there to a 24-hour race, but specifically Le Mans. Like obviously that was the plan originally before the pandemic hit, and I still owe my wife a honeymoon. So
yeah, you do.
Those are supposed to go hand in hand. So we'll see if I can make that happen.
I mean, the Rolex, the 24, down in Daytona, that wouldn't be a bad one to go to either. But man, you really can't walk around too much. It's a pretty small.
Right.
You're kind of locked in. You're captive.
Yeah, she wouldn't enjoy Daytona as much as Le Mans. I know that already.
Although I would love to go to the 24 in Daytona, but someday.
Oh yeah, definitely. Any other big takeaways from Le Mans that you wanted to touch on or bring up or focus on, anything like that?
I'm excited for the future of sports car racing. We really seem like endurance racing. So many marks are entering hypercar. It's going to be an abundance of competition. There's going to be a lot of big names in these cars. And I'm excited to be there and see all of it. And yeah,
it's an exciting time, to say the least. It is.
I kind of feel like we're entering maybe the final chapter of the internal combustion engine, as far as being the primary and sole power plant of these cars. I don't think in the next 10 years, I think we'll be moving on. Everything will at least be a hybrid system,
right?
Or even here in Le Mans, I think in the next 2 or 3 years, they're supposed to have the Mission 24, the hydrogen powered Peugeot, which we did see on track, which I was very, very excited. We got to see that car up close, back in the village behind the paddock, but then to actually see it running on track was very cool.
Was it just doing like hot laps, or?
It did one lap. I think it was right before Fernando Alonso went out in one of the Alpines and did a lap. Very slow. I mean, he could have tore that place apart for as many laps as he's done in the Toyota over the years, but in his Formula One car, yeah.
So is that
he did lock the brakes up at the Dunlop chicane.
Well, that's because ABS is for sissies. Everybody knows that.
Oh, we're gonna find out, aren't we?
I don't know. I don't know I don't know how to drive without ABS, or I don't know how to drive with.
I don't
ABS.
drive with ABS.
Yeah. Johnny from Nine Lives Racing had made an ABS like delete thing, and he CNC'd in it. ABS is for Sistis, and he's selling it for C5s. I'm so as if I needed another reason to like that guy.
I guess I can embrace that now. The MPO1s.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
ABS less. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can move on from Le Mans. I'm excited to go someday. God, I hope so. But before we do that, I want to remind everybody to head over to Petrobox, mypetrobox.com. They have a new website. They just updated it. They have a bunch of other cool stuff in there now. So it's more exciting. There's like a cool drone video of these drifters, and it makes me dizzy because the drone driver is as good of a driver as a drifter, which is freaking crazy. But if you want to use the code GTP15 for 15% off your first box or anything available in the shop, you got to remember Christmas is coming up. People looking for gifts. Petrobox has you covered for everybody, whether it's whether your dog or your friend or your family. Shirts, car care products. Otherwise, you want to get the box. Otherwise, as this thing just popped up, they give out a free set of Rotiform wheels every month. So if you are a subscriber, you are already automatically entered to get a free set of Rotiform wheels. The odds of you getting a set of wheels, this is probably the best out of any sort of like raffle or anything like that. So mypetrobox.com, use code TTP15.
That's a nice Petrobox shirt you have on, Robert.
It is a nice Petrobox shirt I have on.
It is.
And it fits me nice. So like it like squeezes on my arms so like people can see that I have not little chicken arms and chicken legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. It's a fitted shirt, which is nice.
I'll probably just keep wearing my hoodie because I don't have your physique.
You might want to reconsider that, as the NPO1 doesn't have power steering. It doesn't have boosted brakes. I just want to say that maybe I'm not the only one that should be focused on his fitness over the winter.
You are correct.
We'll talk. Let's talk about the NPO1 a little bit. I've talked about it a little bit on the show. Obviously, I'm super excited about it, but you've owned it for, let's see, almost, yeah. We did that in June.
July.
Why do I think everything happened in June? I don't remember.
Yeah, it didn't happen in June.
Nothing happened in June. Just forget about it, man. So we went and got that in July. You've had it a while now.
Yep.
You got buyer's remorse. You sick of it? You just want to get rid of it?
No, not at all. I wish the weather was going to hold out a little further so we could take it to the track again. But
we'll have to drive south.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe something. Yeah, maybe something over the winter down south.
So that's my biggest disappointment is that it got so fucking busy at the end of the year, and it was like we were going to do it, like we were going to take it out a couple more times, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't help me getting COVID.
Yeah,
at the beginning of October.
Selfish jerk.
I know. And just, I mean, and work, just, missing that week and a half of work it was almost like missing a whole month.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what it put me behind, just feeling like we're in the past week starting to get caught up, and now everyone's got the holiday rush of, oh, we've got to get in our house before Christmas. And
then everyone's using the code 1010s to get their factory fabrication stuff. And it's just, that's good.
Exactly.
Good on them, But that's good. I obviously the car is not the cheapest car in the world. You bought it sight unseen, untested, undriven. Like you knew in your mind this was the car. So
yeah, watching the Stratus team and WRL and how well they performed with it over the season with WRL it just confirmed my hunch and my suspicion that platform was a very viable choice. But then they're all very, very good drivers.
Yes.
So not to take anything away from their talent. I mean, the car is great, but they're all very, very, very accomplished drivers. So kudos to them. It's very happy for them.
It's kind of funny that like I was following half their drivers on Instagram before I realized that they were driving for Stratus. I was like,
oh, really?
I'd look up their names. I was like, just to kind of like, well, if I'm gonna be around these people, I want to know them a little better. It's like, oh, you already follow him and him. Okay, I already follow these guys.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah. I guess Dakota Dickerson's racing the LMP3 this week. Oh, that's awesome. Have fun in IMSA.
Yup. Yeah, very, very good drivers.
Be like, yeah, this team is legit.
They are. That's a hell of a team, and for how welcoming, Katya, the team owner, I guess is the right name. For how welcoming and kind she was with like any questions we've had is like so welcomed in the racing community, in my opinion, because you wouldn't get that, I think, with a lot of people.
Very few. I mean, yeah, there's other teams like, hey, do you have something? Can we buy we're looking for a clutch. We blew ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll help you out here. No, they're like totally very forthcoming with all development. Hey, we're all this together. We want to see more MPO1s out, on the grid next year. The more the merrier. And be like, they even invite us. He's like, we're having a track day down at Hallett. You guys are welcome to join us free of charge. And be like, wait, what?
It was so disappointed.
Ask,
so disappointed we couldn't make that work.
I know. Me too. But yeah, it's very rare to see that extensive and that degree of hospitality, especially with someone running the exact same platform that you are. Yeah, you got to respect that. Can't thank them enough.
Oh, absolutely. You got to respect that attitude of, I'll just beat you on the track. I'll give you I'll give you all the tools you need. I'm still going to beat you on the track.
Exactly.
I love that mentality.
Man, you got to respect that flex.
Yep. But you got to, we took it out. You got to drive it.
Yep.
And you loved it.
Oh, it was like I felt like it was in one of my little Tyco slot cars that I had when I was, 8 years old. I'd never been in anything like it, that you just turned the wheel, you stepped on the gas, and it went exactly where you wanted it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just incredible. I mean, I don't think any of us that were in the car that day, you could have knocked our smiles off our faces with a baseball bat. It was so much fun. And to be able to get to do this in a wheel-to-wheel environment is, yeah, I'm just literally licking my lips at the chance to get out there. So
nope, couldn't
very
agree,
fun.
Couldn't agree more. I was just blown away by how like proper it felt. Like in like just being in the, like we didn't have the right seat for it. I was fighting to stay in a comfortable position, but like that was the only problem. Everything else was just like this. Everything about this is right. This is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you felt very, very connected to the road, but you could tell the car was very visceral and very analog. I mean, you could feel and sense everything. And it was incredible.
Yes. Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know how else to explain it. It was, yeah. I think this is a fun journey we're about to embark on this coming season.
Yep. And obviously we can't give away too much of it since a lot of it's up in the air and not public, but we'll leave it at that. Obviously we're still a team. We're still chasing after the goals that we had, and we'll continue to develop as best we can over the winter, and hopefully be on track a lot sooner than we realize, because it's already halfway through December. December,
November.
Yeah, I'll say halfway through November, almost to December is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, man. I mean, the rest of this year is going to fly by, and this could be like, We may have about 6 weeks before we're supposed to be on grid, guys. Be like,
Yep.
oh,
Yeah, we got some focus here. We need to do. That's what.
Yep.
I've been diving into the Z, getting it as ready as I possibly can. I was like, okay, as soon as we know what we're doing, focus shifts all the way to the MPO1, and we'll figure out the Z stuff later.
Yeah, that's future Robbie.
That's future Robbie's problem.
That's future Robbie and anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in all reality, the Z is probably not, unless I go to NCM for grid life, the Z's not getting raced until probably July, realistically.
Man.
So I'm trying to get ahead of it as best I can, and then if it doesn't get, if it gets pushed aside, it gets pushed aside. I mean, I'm happy with where I'm at. I think I discovered a lot of the issues I had. Like, I think I figured out my transmission. I think I figured out a lot of my suspension stuff. So I mean, it's
with the transmission. What you told me, I've been like, what?
it's just gears and levers, man. It's easy. But I think it was a combination of things. But I think I finally figured it out. But of course, the parts that I ordered were back ordered. Then they showed up in Birmingham, and then UPS broke the package, and now they're gone. I'm not joking. I learned that like 4 hours before we started recording.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
So,
well, maybe after being in the MPO1 so much, you're going to be like, Z, what? Yeah, I can't go back to that. I can't do that.
I'm spoiled. I can't do that. Like,
yeah.
Well, even on my sim rig, I bought a sequential like mod. So it's like a 3D printed like spring thing. I got a picture of it I'm trying to pull up. But yeah, so I printed off like a tall like shifter, and then it's got springs. So you use third and fourth as you're up and down. So everyone else uses the flappy paddles, of course. And then I'm sitting there like, let's do like an MX5 cup or whatever, because they're all SODEVs now. So I'll basically be practicing my sequential act like as if it was the NPO1, and I'm super pumped about it.
But then they just unveiled the paddle.
I know. You couldn't let me have the shifter for like one race. Do you think I don't know. Do you think you're going to go the route or no?
We'll have to see if we go that route or not.
I mean, floppy paddles are faster. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
it's hard not to argue with that.
I mean, what are we out there chasing? Time.
Yeah, you want everything you can do to make it faster.
How much is this delta really worth to you?
No. If it's the difference between first and second, then yeah, it makes.
maybe we need to talk to Uncle Josh.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, no, I'm obviously super excited about it. You're obviously super excited about it. So next year's gonna be pretty awesome. I keep saying that ever since we've done the podcast, every year has been I've claimed it was going to be better than the year before, and so far, because of all the opportunities the podcast has presented me, that's been very true. And then this is like that big goal I've been chasing after. That's 2022 because of you and your silly race program.
It's a sickness, man. I mean,
yep.
It's a terrible affliction, and I'll always blame Josh or thank him. One or both. I would say Adam's probably right there for me too. I get to blame him for this. But I mean, I'll blame Adam all day for anything.
I know. I think as soon as he knew you were going to come on the show, he's like, I don't want to be blamed for something.
Yeah, he's ghosted. He's like, I don't need to be there to take this verbal abuse.
No. But yeah, follow us at FactFab Racing on Instagram. We'll be posting a lot more as the season becomes more planned out and we know what we're doing. Obviously, we're kind of keeping things a little bit tight-lipped until things are a little bit more revealed, and we'll share where we're at and what we're doing. But until then, FactFab Racing on Instagram.
Yeah.
Before we transition, I want to remind everybody that our buddy Zach at Eyes Up Auto Art, if you can see this, if you're watching the YouTube video or if you've seen the studio recently, there's a picture of E-Man's Datsun on my wall. He painted it and then mailed it to me and didn't mail it to E-Man. It's the best part about the whole thing because they actually reached out and asked for it. And he's like, nah, Robbie gets it, which is awesome. But if you want a painting of your own Datsun or E-Man's Datsun or any race car. He's doing commissions. Like I said, Christmas is coming up. That'd be an awesome thing. That's probably not on anyone's Christmas list, but everyone would appreciate if they got it. I know if someone wanted to get me a present and they're like, here's a picture of your car at Road America painted by Eyes Up Auto Art. Yeah, that's going right on the wall. That's an incredible gift. So Eyes Up Auto Art, you can catch him on Instagram and Facebook. There's no code. We're just shouting out a friend. I know he's taking commissions, so Eyes Up Auto Art.
Yeah, that Ford GT I saw the other day didn't he paint that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was you posted on Instagram?
I posted it on Instagram and reposted what he had posted. So
yeah, that was an amazing piece.
He's really come along. Like, not to say that he wasn't good when he first started doing this, but like you can tell the progression of his talents have really like started to come through. Like even like this picture of the Datsun. The Datsun it's so
great.
good. It's such a good painting.
But that perspective that he had with the GT, very tasty.
Yep. I had the picture, but anyways, like I don't know if it was him or I want to say it was him that was doing it, where he was like taking the brush and like just like flicking it to get like road like rubber, like just to make it look like it's like got rubber on the. So he's just like flicking the black paint on it. Just like,
nice.
One of those cool effects to make it like realistic. Because you seem to go to all the cool events, you also decided like, yeah, Le Mans, great, but also F1's in America, so we're going to go to Austin.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was probably a little bit easier to make happen than Le Mans. Was that always in the plan this year?
Yes.
Okay.
It was in the plans once they announced the schedule and they had it on the calendar. And with it being in Texas, you're like, yeah, they're not going to shut this down for COVID. This is going to happen.
No, God, no.
Because Texas is going to Texas.
Yeah.
So we had full confidence that it was going to go down. And so we ponied up the cash and got some tickets for that. And wow, is that an experience? And F1 is another animal, another beast of its own.
I was very curious how it compared to Le Mans or the endurance series in general.
I would say there's probably a lot more, especially over here in the States. I think far more newer fans, but then a lot of just kind of fringe people that were coming out to see the spectacle.
Okay.
Of the world's biggest traveling circus.
I can see
because
that.
that's exactly what it was. I mean, it was. I think they said it was something like 412,000 people over the 3 days.
Yep.
It was just. I mean, it was nuts to butts everywhere you went, and just trying to get to and from the circuit. I mean, it's not too far away from downtown Austin, but we had heard some people that it was taking 3 hours by car.
Oh,
I mean, you're talking maybe 12, 15 miles.
That's crazy.
If that, it was insane.
So it's basically a 12 mile line of cars just stop and go the whole way.
Just ridiculous. Yeah. Other than that, and then just, I mean, you would think they'd have dedicated vendors just selling water, but no,
really?
It was beer.
Oh yeah, of course.
And water. And then you get to then you get up to the guy. It's like, I need a water. Oh, I don't have any water. You want a beer? No, I don't want a beer.
No, it's 100 degrees.
People fucking dehydrating out here.
Yeah.
Just,
No, when it's 110 degrees out and I've been standing around all day, I want a water.
Yeah. and me being even as picky as I am, I drank still water. I didn't drink sparkling water. That's how thirsty I was. I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You poor thing.
It was tough.
I feel bad.
I really had to swallow my pride and take off my fancy boy hat.
Jeez.
I was not happy.
It sounds like it was almost like as bad as Knotfest here in Des Moines. But not quite that bad.
It wasn't quite that bad.
Yeah, I would imagine though that 50,000 people spread out over the entire track of Le Mans. Then you go to Austin where it's a few 100,000.
Yeah,
it's a little bit
there's
different.
over 100,000 people every day, and yeah, it was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm spending $20 and getting 4 waters, and carrying them with me, because you're not going to know if you're going to be able to get any more, and you don't want to miss any of the action on track. So, but they, Formula One really knows how to put on a great show. And we saw some good racing where we were sitting over by turn 12 and 15, right there through all the turns at the end of the back straight.
That'd be a good place to be. That'd be fun.
It was a good place to be. They had monitors up everywhere, so you could see action all over the track. Just everything you see on TV, we got to see live. And it's just one of those things. You got to commit to it. And, you got to save up to go to Formula One. Do it.
Is F1 a little more expensive than Le Mans, like from a ticket standpoint? Obviously, Le Mans, the plane tickets. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But even then, it didn't seem so bad when you put it into like the whole weekend. It's like I had a friend that her dad is like highly involved somehow, and she always had free tickets. And like this year, of course, she didn't have them. But like she posts on Facebook, "Hey, we got these tickets." I'm like, you post this Friday, of the weekends. Like, I got to remember to reach out before. But like, even though like do you do like general admission and you can walk around, or do you have like assigned seats?
We got reserved seating. I think that I would have been fine with the general admission, but you wouldn't have gotten the views like we had of a lot of the action, a lot of the general admission. I mean, there were some places, but I think like back by turn 19, it was on a hill, so you're basically seeing the cars go by, and that's it. You're not seeing any real action or overtakes. I don't know. It depends on what you're there for and how serious you want to be about it, and how much money you want to spend, because
you can spend all of it.
You can spend all the monies. I mean, there were people that were spending a shit ton of money for ride-alongs and, some of the McLarens or an Astons. I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars just to go do
one hot lap.
Some hot laps with a little bit of drifting in it.
I mean, I understand that excitement, but I'm not at a point in my life where I could spend that kind of money to do it.
Yeah, especially when we get to go and actually race our cars.
But yeah, I've always wanted to do it. Austin always seems great. Miami sounds like it'd be a blast.
It's going to be even more expensive,
I would imagine, because
I mean, those tickets pretty much got gobbled up, and I think the scalpers now are.
Oh God, I can only imagine.
I mean, we talked about going, and now I'm just like, just on principle alone, I have no interest.
No. And
plus, I'm not a big Florida fan either. So
I like Miami though, I really do. But I'm a beach person. I like the beach.
Not me. I don't have your guns. I don't have your petrol box shirt.
Just fitted to my body to show off my awesome tan, which I don't have.
That's not me.
You're more of the t-shirt on in the pool guy.
Oh, I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy.
Good. Yeah. So so the Formula One weekend, like obviously, I think I don't want to say obviously because I don't pay enough attention, but they do the Formula 2 race. Do they do other feeder stuff that keeps you busy throughout the week, or is it? They didn't
have. So they had the W series,
yes,
the women's, and then F4. They had the F4 Americas.
Oh, that was a championship.
Yes.
Okay.
As was the W series.
Yes.
So that was cool to see. But I think those are in the W series is spec F3. Yeah. F3 cars.
Okay.
And I wanted, we got to see some of that. I didn't get to see as much of it as I wanted to. just again, due to logistics of trying to get to the circuit from downtown. We took a coach every day, but it was still quite a haul, almost an hour for us on a bus.
Yeah. Which means a bus full of people next to you, touching your elbow, kicking your foot, breathing on your neck. Yeah. No, Windows
it wasn't
security.
that bad.
Sorry, Windows security is letting me know that I am secure. But yeah.
Lockdown.
Anyways. But it looked like a super fun weekend. Looked like the weather basically gave you what you were looking for, and got a sweet picture of Lando Norris, and that's really all that matters.
What's that?
You posted a picture of Lando Norris in our Facebook group, and I appreciated that. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, the hotel we were staying at was like, we pulled up and I saw a Range Rover, and I was like, man, that guy looks familiar. And we were walking in, and I heard someone say Jensen Button. He's like, yes, I am. And I was like, holy shit, it's Jensen Button. So we got a nice pic with the kids. I was like, hey, JB, kids get a picture with you? That's how you really,
Yeah, you get the kids involved, and they can't.
You get the kids involved, and they can't say no. So he was a very nice gentleman for the short time that we talked to him, and kids were very happy. You
sent the picture to the group, and it took me a second to put it together, because every time I picture Jensen Button, I picture Jensen Button when he was driving, younger. So I was like, I recognize him, but I couldn't place it at first.
It's exactly what I did when I saw him in person. I was like, and then we started seeing more people from Sky Sports, and I was like, holy shit, everyone from Sky's staying here. So on the Sunday morning before we go to the track, I saw a guy come down. He's like, Mr. Crofty, check it out. And I was like, oh my God. So I got a pic with Crofty and said hi to him, and another very nice gentleman.
Yep. It looked like it's another super fun weekend. Yeah, obviously very jealous of the fact that you've gone to all these events that I sit at home and watch on TV and then text you while you're there, and or you text me when you're not super busy, and then just make me feel bad for not being there.
Yeah, well, we'll get to France.
Yes,
we'll get to France someday together.
Yeah, that'll be a blast. I think I'd be more excited about that, because even last weekend we were hanging out and we were listening to Petit Le Mans. Just the idea of going to Petit Le Mans, I was like, that'd be awesome. So
that was an amazing race.
Start to finish.
All of it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I mean, there was always something going on last weekend. I would have loved to have been at that one.
Yep.
That finish in DPI was that last lunge.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the huge thing the difference between the racing style of that and Formula One. I'm watching that going, oh my God. And then I think back to Formula One, I guess for anyone that hasn't watched it. So do you remember the drivers? I can't remember the drivers. The guy in
DPI?
Yes.
I don't know if it was Harry. Was it Harry Tinknell in the Mazda?
That sounds right.
I don't know if it was him or not. And then it was, was it?
I'm less familiar with
Rick. It was Ricky or Jordan. It was one of the Taylor brothers that was in the Minolta DPI.
Would have been, it would have been Ricky, right? Because Jordan had that awful crash in the Corvette.
Yeah. So it was that chicane right before the bridge, heading down into the front straight, and he just took the lunge, shot it in there, overshot it, and he knew he had to give it back.
Jumping through the grass and gave it. It was crazy.
It was funny. It's after 10 hours of endurance racing, not only in DPI, but in GTD, in a couple, and maybe another class, it was seconds, mere seconds.
Yes,
separated. Class racing, separating these cars. You don't see that in Formula One.
No. After an hour and a half.
You know, after an hour and a half, it's like, well, Lewis and Max are, you know, 20, ahead. 30 seconds. Yeah, they're 20 or 30 seconds ahead of everyone else on grid. And we're watching a 10-hour endurance race, and these guys are within seconds of each other. Come on.
Freaking crazy. But
it was.
But it was, and the driving was like aggressive, like the whole way through. And it's just funny because you watch Formula One, and like the entire week they've been arguing, like the entire world has been arguing over whether or not Max Verstappen's pass was a penalty or not. And then just watch 3 laps of any endurance race. You're like, there would have been like 1,000 penalties in Formula One.
Or not. We're supposed to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough. But
we'll find out. Well, yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
It'll be out by the time this is aired. But it was just funny. Like when I bounce back and forth between F1 and then IMSA or something, it's just like the IMSA drivers seem to be more aggressive, taking the bigger risks. Like it's just funny. It's like, fuck the penalties. We'll just go for it. It's like, but you have 10 hours left.
So yeah, sometimes I mean it's that old adage like you can't win an endurance race on the first lap, but you could sure as hell lose the entire day.
Yep. Well, Boonie, you've been a good sport. You stuck around a lot longer than I was expecting you to. Talking about a little bit everything.
I overstayed my welcome, didn't I?
Not at all. I figured you're like, hey, I got a half hour. This is all you get.
I've always got all the time in the world for you, Robert.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, then I'm going to make you do more podcasts. That's all I'm going to do. You just signed up.
Well, if your co-host back there keeps ghosting you,
I mean, he doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. I don't know.
I mean, hey, maybe he's working on the Omni.
Maybe.
I highly doubt it.
Is there anything you want to get off your chest towards him while he's not here to get mad about? He can talk about
himself.
Yeah, then he can talk about it next week on the show. It'd be fun.
No, I'd rather do it in person to his face,
or on the group, the Facebook group,
or in the face group. Yeah. So if he ever does want to come visit me, you know, if he's, I don't know, maybe he's intimidated. Or maybe he doesn't like Max. Maybe he doesn't want to come to the shop anymore.
I came to the shop the other day and I bullshitted with Max for a while, and then like you came back, he's like, I should probably get back to work. I was like, yeah, I've been distracting you for a while. Sorry about that.
Adam knows where I'm at. He never stops.
And he drives past you all the time.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Man.
Maybe he's intimidated.
Maybe. Hey, what are you doing with that Mini Cooper in your parking lot? Now that I got you on the show.
You put me on the spot here, aren't you?
Because I know somebody that wants a new daily driver.
Like you, who? That
would finish it and make it drivable and would drive it every day.
It's drivable.
Is it really?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it.
Oh. Okay, then you're going to want more than I thought. I just saw it sitting there with a flat tire. I was like, oh. That thing doesn't. What do you want for that Mini Cooper?
No, I don't know. I think it just had a slow leak. I haven't driven it. It's been a couple months, I think.
Man, so what you're saying is it should be driven every day by me.
I don't know. If it's not getting driven every day, it should probably be a rally car.
Damn it, that'd be fun.
It would be.
I can support that.
Yeah, Max would support that as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. That'd be a great time.
It'd be a great time.
But that's what you need is more projects in your life.
No, I really don't. We just need one. Right now, we just need one car to focus on.
One big one. Yeah.
Just one.
But yeah, I will let you wrap up your night. I want to remind everybody to head over to apextrackcoach.com. Get your Apex Pro. Again, Christmas is coming. Use the code 10tenths. And you get a 10% off when you get a free window mount. You get off your Gen 2. I am super pumped to use the Gen 2. I have a data review session coming up here with Andrew. I
was just going to say, hey, Andrew.
He's been super helpful. We're not to give away too much, but we expect to utilize his services as a coach as well as a data reviewer as a team for the NPO one next year. So I'm getting ahead of the game already by reviewing some of the data I've done, specifically at Road America. So we're going to go over how my I want to say race 3. I think we're going to talk about that because that's probably the one where I have the cleanest data, and I can kind of talk about the mistakes I'm making, ways I can improve. So yeah, not only can you get the Gen 2 and use our code, if you also want to use Andrew as a coach and go to their shop, that's an option as well. So just head up there, hit up the apextrackcoach.com, and yeah, hit up Andrew. He's super helpful, and he'll make you faster on track. All right, I forgot one thing.
Yes.
We can't finish a show without a hot take. The fans have demanded it.
What are we hot taking?
I don't remember. I have one that I want Adam to do next week, or whenever he comes back. I have notes. I save notes for myself so I can do this. How do you feel about boneless wings?
Ooh, boy. I know what purists are going to think.
I actually assumed you were a purist because you are a purist.
I am.
With everything else with food.
I am, but surprisingly, I'm not going to be as judgmental on this as I am other hot takes.
Like a steak?
Well, a steak.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Utensils for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Certain sparkling waters.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Boneless wings are chicken nuggets. And that's what they are.
They are.
Yeah. So I'm, there. I don't even think it's not even up for debate.
Fair.
They're chicken nuggets. They're not wings.
But we call them wings. So you and me.
I don't call them wings.
You and me, we go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I call them chicken nuggies.
That's not what you call them when you order them, though.
You're an 8-year-old kid wanting chicken nuggets.
Do you order chicken nuggets?
I do not order chicken nuggets.
You order the bone-in wings when you go to, we'll say Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, I'm an Iowa State graduate. When I want wings, I go to Pizza Pit. That's where the best wings are at.
Yes, but I can't just go to Pizza Pit every day.
Yes, you can. You actually can. You can drive. You can drive your ass up to Welch and get some wings.
Why didn't we do that last weekend? Oh, that's right.
Right?
Because your wife made the best food I've had maybe ever. Never mind.
Yeah. Man, I'm serious.
The Korean short ribs were probably the
ribs. That was bomb, man. Made by a vegetarian.
Yeah, if you want the best Korean short ribs you've ever had in your life, have a vegetarian make it for you, apparently, because it's fucking delicious.
It was so good.
It's been a week, and I'm still thinking about it.
I was too. I was like, man, why didn't she make more of these?
Whatever that recipe was, I want it.
We can do that.
Back to the hot take. I almost never order bone-in wings because I hate using my fingers at a restaurant to eat. I'll just use the fork. I'll dip it in the different sauces. I always get like 3 different sauces with different levels of heat. So I'll go from like just a regular buffalo sauce to like the Asian zing or like the Jamaican jerk. So I'll have like different sauces for different flavors.
You're not doing it in Carolina Reaper?
I think my limit is right around the Jamaican jerk, Asian zing, 3/4 of the way up the scale. That's my comfort level. Anything beyond that, the taste doesn't make up for the fact that I'm in pain.
I'll do the Reaper.
Bullshit. Will you really?
Bullshit.
You'll do the top of the scale. You'll do all the way to the end of the scale. You'll do the
all day.
You'll do the blazing challenge.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
I don't think I could do it. I mean, I'd do it out of spite if I had to, but
I'm not gonna eat 20 of them.
No.
But I'll definitely. It's like, all right, 6 or 8. I could do that.
Oh man, that'd be probably too much.
Because when I got COVID, I was like, I lost my taste and smell. Like, kids, we're getting wings. I'm getting the hottest wings. I was like, oh, Well, fine. I suppose I still can feel that heat, and I sure did.
How was that? If you had no sense of flavor, it was just like a kick in the mouth.
Yep.
Weird.
A big, yeah. Just a big
that's
kick.
so weird. I haven't ever I'm sure I've gotten COVID over the last year and a half, at least some point, but I've never lost my sense of taste and smell. So I don't know what that feels like. It's just such a weird concept to me to be able to only feel what you're eating.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just feeling the sensation of hot and texture.
Weird. That's so weird. I mean, I don't really want to experience it, but it's just so weird.
Yeah. 0 out of 10 would not recommend.
No, thank you. I hate getting like the sniffles, so I want nothing to do with any of that.
Nope, me neither.
But yeah, so I'm a chicken nugget boy. I admit it. I go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm just gonna start calling you Happy Meal.
That's fine. I'm a happy boy. Happy boy with my Happy Meal. I
hope the rest of the consortium will refer to you as Happy Meal as well.
That's fine. It's better than some of the other things they call me, so I'll take it.
Oh, I'm sure I get plenty of other names too.
Yeah, no, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll get the medium. I'll get three different flavors. Usually don't go sweet though. I usually go middle of the pack heat.
We're gonna have to go to Pizza Pit and go up to Welch sometime
and
document that. We'll do a remote recording.
Live, yeah, like a live feed during the Facebook group.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
Because
God damn it,
I think there's only one other. I think there's a Pizza Pit up in Madison at the University of Wisconsin.
Okay,
I remember seeing one up there.
Yep, I remember the food and the pizza from there too. It's been 8 years. 7 years. It's been 7 years since I've eaten there.
I worked at both Pizza Pit and Welch at the station in college.
It's nice to see.
So I got my fill.
Yeah, it's nice to see that's still there, though.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Thank God. I mean, there's some things that aren't going to change names, and luckily that's one of the places.
Exactly.
As in, nothing inside ever changes.
No, it's the same thing as it was when you were there, when I was there, and when the next generation's there.
Oh yeah, and like the generation before me, like those Rolling Stones posters were put up in '85, and they're the exact same poster.
Yep, it is frozen in time.
It is
best of ways. Not, I love it. But anyways, apparently we're going to get some wings, and I want to hear what everyone's opinion is on their wings. So thank you, Boonie, for coming on the show. And
my wings, your nuggets.
I'm gonna get my boneless wings. I don't care.
You getting fries and orange drink with that too?
Yeah.
Maybe a little toy.
If I can, I get a glass of milk. I like to have milk. If you have spicy food, you gotta have milk. Milk is refreshing.
In your Happy Meal?
Yes. You can get it in the carton. It's great.
I still have ends there. I could have your wings sent down to the bar in a Happy Meal box.
Now we have to.
That would be funny.
That'd be worth it. I would keep it. I would keep the Happy Meal box. All right, buddy. I want to thank you for your time. Apparently, I'm going to make this a thing more often because my co-host doesn't want to hang out with me anymore.
Well, he doesn't want to hang out with me either.
All right, we'll catch everybody next week.